Welcome to The Real CO.
I'm Cindy.
And I'm Olivia.
And we're here to talk about our truths,
our opinions,
and our perspective in the world of health.
All right, welcome to The Real CO, episode number 4. We're so excited to be back because we've missed a couple of weeks. Cindy was in Mexico. How was that, Cindy?
Well, Mexico is awesome. Except when you're walking around, by the pool, and then you realize that you have a lot of work to do on your rear end.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. We plan on going to Mexico a couple more times. And, how I told you I was going to get back into lifting because I'd had a little bit of a sabbatical. It showed.
Okay.
Totally showed.
No.
So
which part of Mexico were you in again? I forgot.
This time we just were in, a part of Cancun. And they've got lots of Puerto Vallarta, all these little areas that are kind of centered around Cancun, and you kind of go off. So I don't really know where exactly we were. We flew into Cancun and then went to the right.
Oh, nice.
We were in the right side.
Well, I don't know if you saw this, but you missed all the good weather here. So you should be.
Did I really? Was it pretty?
No, it was horrible. It was monsooning. As a matter of fact, I got Thursday, this is a side subject. Where we live, we have a huge creek that we have to cross over to get back to our house. This creek, when it monsoons, turns into a river. And I was my whole family, thank God my husband took my dog to work with him that day because we were flooded out of our house. Couldn't get home, had to stay with my in-laws, which actually I kind of like it because their bed sleeps better than mine.
Wow.
And I think, I don't know, it's just easier. My in-laws' houses are just comfortable. But
why did I not know that?
We were flooded out. Well, I don't think everybody was flooded. We just chose to live in a place where we are in the middle of nowhere and get flooded out frequently. So
wow.
I love it.
Wow. Well,
so
what about you? We didn't record either because you were not feeling well.
Yeah. So I'll just say it. I had COVID and
dun, dun, dun.
I know. I was like, daggone it. This is my second time having it. I had it back in 2020, had it again just a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, it wasn't that bad for me, but I contribute a lot of that to my current health. I had some backaches and stuff. It was more of a pain in the butt because of the whole isolation thing, but I felt okay. I'm still productive. Made myself get up, went outside, took my vitamin D, took my multivitamins, ate my food, drank my water, and slept. So
that was me with my second time.
Yeah.
My second time was so much better.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It's almost like your body did what it was supposed to do and created these antibodies that could identify the virus and fight it off. So
that's what we did.
There you go. So it's interesting because your story of Mexico fits into our topic for today. So instead of pulling the car over, we might pull it over still a couple times. We're actually going to throw it into reverse and talk about reverse dieting, which is I'm excited about. That's my favorite topic. I think it's it's probably the most talked about topic with my patients and my clients.
Well, it's becoming talked about more and more because of the extreme dieting that has gone on since the 90s.
Yes, exactly. It's almost like, oh man, everybody.
Well, you know what else? And I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to go ahead and pull the car over early.
Good. Okay.
Do you know what else has done that? Was HCG.
Mm-hmm.
HCG and then a 500 calorie, right? I don't know if you knew that, but that was really big the first part of 2000 to 2010. And what was happening was you would do HCG and you would drop your caloric intake to 500 calories and you can only do it for so long. And of course, then you have to wean off of it and people are starving. Mm-hmm. So then they're overeating and then they gain back most of it. Then you can do HCG again and then it helps you not have an appetite and you cut those calories back to 500. So honestly, I think that helped contribute to what happened. But yeah, that was, I was fighting that, that whole, everybody was saying, oh, HCG, and then I've got this, and oh, I'm losing weight. And I'm like, oh, well, that's awesome.
You're eating less than a toddler. So
Yeah.
yeah. So the other medications that do it, things like phentermine, and the injectables too. So essentially, all that they're doing is suppressing your appetite. You're naturally going to eat less.
And honestly, guys, we know, like we have watched Survivor.
Yeah.
We've seen Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
We know what happens in 14 to 21 days of not eating. Of course, you lose a lot of weight. But I'm going to tell you right now, especially with women, when I do in-bodies and I have to warn them ahead of time, when you're losing weight, you will lose muscle.
Absolutely.
You know,
yes.
so sometimes if you do it wrong, you lose more muscle than you do body fat, and therefore body fat percentages go up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so anyway.
But that's our whole goal, is like whenever you put someone in a caloric deficit, maintaining muscle is the name of the game. Muscle preservation is the name of the game, because we want to optimize that basal metabolic rate, right? So the rate at which your body burns calories at a rested state. If you have more muscle, don't freak out. Women, you're not going to turn in looking like a man. If you have more muscle, you can eat what you want and maintain it and still look good and tight, like we talked about. So,
and my thing is, honestly, as women, you want to, as we get older, right, eat more and not gain weight.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And I agree. It's all about muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. I had 100, excuse me. I just thought about this lady today. I took care of a patient in the hospital back in the days. She was 102 years old. And I asked her, I said, what is your fountain of youth? She was like, honey, I get up every day. I eat breakfast every single day. And I was like, she's right. I mean, she started her day with a good, healthy, protein-rich breakfast, and that set her metabolism on fire for the rest of the day so she could eat her breakfast, her lunch. You know, she was getting all of the calories in.
Yeah, how many women don't eat breakfast? Oh. It's one of my biggest peeves.
Yes.
Like, people get up and they don't eat I'm not hungry in the morning. Well, you're not going to be hungry in 3 or 4 hours either, because you haven't turned on your metabolic rate.
Yes, exactly. So when your feet hit the floor, get up. Feet hit the floor, breakfast, coffee, pronto.
You know what I tell people too? Eventually, I want you to wake up in the middle of the night starving.
Yes.
That's when you're like,
it's amazing. You're like, yes, baby, it's on now.
Working.
Yes. So this idea of reverse dieting is basically you just are incrementally adding calories in to get you up to what we would consider your maintenance calories. So if someone were to come to me, and you probably do the same thing, if someone was like, okay, I have this wellness goal, I want to lose weight. Okay, that's fine. Let's track your food for a week or two. Let's get an idea of what your actual intake looks like. And then from there, determine, do we need to reverse? Most often there's a small amount of reverse. Actually, if not more. I've had some that really need a major reverse here lately to get you up to where your maintenance calories should be. You all have seen those calculators, right? They'll give you
this multiplied by this is your basic.
Yes.
Which is one reason I love the InBody, because it'll actually determine your muscle to fat ratios and then gives you a more accurate metabolic rate.
I really like the InBody
and
too.
That's how I determine, okay, so this is your basal metabolic rate, and that is how I determine where we go. Before, it was so much harder. I had to play around with numbers and go week to week to week to see how their body responded. And now I can be like, well, if you want to do this and include the InBody, then that gives me a place to start.
I have a question on the InBody, though.
Yeah.
So when you're doing the calculation, and it's based on your age, your height, your weight, if you're male, female, whatever, it'll give you a number, and that's a suggestion. So when you do the InBody, that's actually what their BMR actually is, because it's taken into account the muscle that they currently have,
their height, their weight, and how much muscle they have.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's individualized.
And water. Yeah. So it takes away the water from the weight.
Okay.
And then you've got your muscle that's there, and then you've got everything else. And then it calculates your basal metabolic rate based on that. And it's great. I mean, it's one of those things that has helped me so much. I mean, I know people use it for a lot of other things. The two biggest reasons I use it is finding a basal metabolic rate, and most people are not symmetrical. They're right. They've got more muscle on one side than the other. And for me, longevity means a healthy spine as well.
Yes.
So at that point, then we try to train unilaterally.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I did not even think about that, but that's a good point. So if you have someone that comes in and does an InBody scan here, and their BMR is, well, 1,200, a female,
Mhm.
$1,200 or $1,200.
And that's what we take.
Can I get $1,200 a day? Anyway, so 1,200. And let's say they're like, well, I'm only eating 900. You would still reverse them back to where they're not just their BMR, but what their
Well, the first,
maintenance calories should be, right?
well, it depends. If they're
Okay.
only eating 900 and you say you ladies that are listening, you know this is true. If I'd be like, oh my gosh, we've got to get to 15 and you're not losing weight at 900,
Yeah.
you're freaking out on me.
Yeah.
So no, I don't say that.
Okay.
All y'all know my trick now. No, I don't say that to them. I'm like, okay, so you're eating a 900. The first thing we're going to do is look, we're going to get you to 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
let's see what your markers are after we do a week of 11. And it scares them. I'm like, look, you can do anything. You know, your body's not going to gain 10 pounds in a week. Okay. We've got to fix this. So we'll do 11 and we'll come in. I'll do usually just a waist measurement because that's where women hold. I'll do a waist measurement after 7 days and we'll do a hit a scale. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Mhm.
You know, my waist is down 1/2 inch and the scale's down 0.6.
Mhm.
Well, now we've got to increase a little more. So
Yes.
this week we're going to go ahead and try to go, and I got to go 1150,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, and then, so we'll add 50 more calories and then they'll say, it's so hard. I don't know what to do. That's where your favorite comes into place.
Yeah.
Peanut butter.
I love
Peanut butter will throw you back into your calorie range. Nuts, guacamole, and peanut butter. They're my go-tos across the board.
Same.
If you don't hit a calorie marker, bam,
Mhm.
those 3 help me help you.
Yep. Well, it just takes a little bitty bit. You don't feel like
Yes.
you're getting a whole ton of food and having to,
Right.
Yeah. So
And that's where you need, I'm going to spill this out here, Peanut Butter Company, because I have given them business. All you all that have been my clients for like 15, 17 years, you know, I have promoted this. Dark Chocolate Dreams, White Chocolate Wonderful. They
I've
are
not
the
heard
best.
of these.
And
What?
see, this is crazy. So you used to be able to get them in Louisville at like Whole Foods, order them online. And I had so many people request it at Kroger that Kroger started carrying it. So they have a bee's knees, which is like a honey mixed in with peanut butter.
Man.
And they actually have a cinnamon raisin and they actually have a pumpkin spice. I have to order those from the company, but it's a restaurant in Greenwich Village. And they did all of these different type of peanut butter sandwiches back in the day. And then they came out with their own line of peanut butters. They're not expensive, but if you like peanut butter and you eat it a lot, you need a variety. I told my clients all the time, White Chocolate Wonderful on a sweet potato is like a pie.
Oh my gosh.
Baked sweet potato with a little,
Listen.
okay? And then you've
Yes.
got Dark Chocolate Dreams, which, a tablespoon of that, you have to be careful. I warn people, put the lid back on, put it up, go sit down with your spoon.
My family
Take
have to
your
hide it
time.
from me.
Yes.
They're
I mean,
about it.
it's fantastic on, like, I'll get some, I'll put it on toast in the morning, dark chocolate. I don't like Nutella. The fat in that is not the best type. So I love Dark Chocolate Dreams, White Chocolate Wonderful. Usually I'll tell them to get, if you want a almond butter, Justin's Maple is my favorite.
Okay.
It's kind of like a pancake.
Oh.
Got like peanut butter with a pancake syrup in it. So those are the ones I try to have besides your Jif.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But the labels are exactly the same. The ingredients are minimal.
Okay.
It's fantastic. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it at Kroger. It's in the peanut butter section. It has a blue lid. All of you all that know that, this is a staple. It's the first thing I give my clients because at night you can have a protein before you go to bed and everybody wants a sweet chocolate.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Yep. And that's a great way to just continue that reverse. So
But now I want you to get the White Chocolate Dreams,
okay.
bake you a sweet potato, put 2 tablespoons in there and mash it up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, done. I'm going.
And then
probably
you can
tonight.
even sprinkle a little cinnamon.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you will be like, it is like having pie.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes. Everybody caught that, right? So that's definitely. Okay. Thanks.
Hey, you taught me how to make French fries.
There you go.
See?
It's a good relationship. So
We like to eat.
we do. That's what I'm like when people are like, I don't like to eat or they're afraid to eat. I'm like, listen,
Why?
I freak out if you drop my calories. I'm like, oh no. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I have my own coach, you all, Tina, and Tina probably makes fun of me because when I am on prep and she drops my calories a little bit, she's like, you're a freak of nature because I'm tripping. But anyway, So back to the reverse.
So that's how I kind of do it.
Yeah. And so this is a really good analogy to get people to understand why a reverse is so important. And it's also really important to understand that a reverse, depending on how consistent you are with the reverse, like sticking with your calories and your macros breakdown and all that stuff, and then your training, you have to train. You cannot add the calories and then not change your activity.
And let me throw this out there, because honestly, ladies, yes, I believe in cardiovascular. It's great for your health. As we get older, we've got to have a strong heart, good blood flow. Sure. I mean, all of that. But the problem is, I would rather you all, and yes, it doesn't burn as many calories in the moment, but it will in the 4 weeks. You could do straight cardio for 4 weeks, or you could really get a great lifting program and focus on 4 days a week, 4 days a week. And I know we've got kids and we've got husbands and we've got lives and we've got jobs. And really, honestly, just do a good warm up 15 minutes before, maybe 10 after, to flush the lactic acid, and just focus on the lifting for 4 weeks. I have a hard time because a lot of people, they don't want that.
I know.
And when and a lot of you all know that when you come to me, you don't want that.
Yep.
You don't want that. Yep. You want, and I get you want to burn as many calories as you can. But if you all would, like, if we can get women to change the mindset of as fast as we can, stop waiting 4 weeks before you go to Mexico.
Yeah.
And I get that. Stop doing that. Say, you know what? I'm giving myself 6 months. 6 months to change my physique. How do I do that? Give yourself some breathing room. Don't expect something to change in 6 days. Come see somebody, get a program for 6 months, take that before picture, take another one at 3 months, take another one at 6 months, and you will see what we're talking about.
Yes. And consistency. You have to eat. You have to be consistent. And it's interesting you mentioned the cardio, because a lot of times if I had somebody come in and they're like a cardio bunny, and I'm like, okay, well, you need to do strength training. So they incorporate strength training. I'm like, okay, so if you're going to do this, we also have to scale back on the cardio. We're going to add the calories and scale back on the cardio. And it like blows their minds. But I'm like, trust me.
Your body is already going to eat your muscle.
Yes.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Your body will use your muscle. Your muscle it's secondary. Okay. So let's talk. I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there. What is anorexia? It's where I have worked with anorexia, just like you work with people that overeat. Okay. There are people that severely undereat. And here's what happens. All they see is the body fat storage. And I agree with them. They do have a poochie in their belly and their arms and legs are twigs, but it's because their body will do everything it can to save that last little bit of body fat, eat all of their muscle. And the last muscle it feeds on is the heart.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's scary because, so you were talking about that. It's amazing how adaptable our bodies are. Very adaptable, and they become very efficient. They can function. Our bodies can function on a very low amount of calories. It doesn't mean that they should.
Correct.
It can. It does not mean that it should. So, I don't know what I was going with that.
But I got something to build. Just like most people don't realize they don't feel good.
Yeah.
Our bodies are so adaptable. People don't know what it's like to feel good.
Right.
People don't know anymore. So here's what I say to people. Our bodies are like buckets. It can take so much until it finally spills over, and that's where inflammatory issues come from, diseases come from. And it's like, well, I just turned 40, I just turned 45, I just turned 50, and all of a sudden, boom, boom. No, that is not what happened.
Yeah.
Your body just couldn't keep up with it anymore.
Yes.
You have done this throughout the last, 30, 40, 50 years. So just so you know, don't come to me ever and say, it just happened.
Yeah. Nope.
Psych.
No, it did not.
It did
not.
It
did not.
Or all of a sudden, my body, I can't lose weight.
Yes.
All of a sudden,
yes.
It's not all of a sudden. We need a history. How many fad diets have you done in the last 15 years?
Yeah.
How long were you on them? And when you came off of them, how many months did you binge and gain it back before you tried something new? Have you ever, got rid of a macronutrient? How long have you lifted weights for, we needed a stronger questionnaire,
Yeah.
so that we can turn around and say, you see all of this, your body just did not stop. It's confused.
Yes. I have a really good analogy. I follow, she's actually she's a bodybuilder, Autumn Cleveland, and she posted this video one time, and I was like, that's a great analogy to describe how our bodies react to calorie restriction and how we need to repay it. So if you're an employee, you work for an employer, and they're like, okay, we're going to pay you $1,200 a week. You're like, great, I can pay all my bills. I have a little extra. I can do all this fun stuff, blah, blah, blah. Well, your boss comes to you. You're doing a great job, right? You're really efficient at that $1,200 pay rate.
Right.
So he comes to you and he's like, okay, well, times are tough. We're going to cut you down to $700. And you're like, well, I can still pay my bills. I can't really go out with my friends or go out to eat and do the fun stuff anymore, but I can still function. I'm really, really good at my job still. Okay. So then he comes to you and he's like, okay, well, now we got to cut you back to 500. So again, you're functioning, you're there, you're dragging your butt into work. You're not enthusiastic. You're doing the bare minimum. Our bodies are the same. If we keep cutting our calories, cut, they're going to function at the bare minimum. And it's not going to be,
you're not going to have the hair you want. You're not going to have the skin you want. You're going to wonder why things are the way they are. Yes. I just can't scream it enough.
Yeah.
One of the things I have a daughter that's 16, and it's amazing to me how things have transitioned. When you're looking at women, I guess, still in their 30s and then up 40s, 50s, 60s, it's all about thin.
Mm-hmm.
But this younger generation is all about thick.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I'm like, yeah, girl. Yes.
They are all about eating and lifting and and I'm grateful.
Me too.
I am very grateful because, the industry has made a ton of money off of messing with everyone's thyroid and slowing down their metabolism and teaching them false alternatives. And I really hope this wakes everybody up.
Yeah.
I genuinely do, because I want you all in your 70s being able to go out for burgers and fries and,
you're youthful, like you're living this full life that God intended us to have, enjoy it. If you come to me, Elevate Wellness is launching in 4 weeks. No. Is that 4 weeks? It's a little bit more than
5 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Something like that. If you don't, I'll just straight up tell you, don't expect me to give you a medication for weight loss. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry.
That is the reason she's sitting next to me.
I'm trying to change. I'm going against the grain here. So,
well, and the other thing that I appreciated about her is I have so many people that, and most of you, a lot of you all know that you're one of the ones I really want to get in to see her. But one of the things that she told me the other day when I was talking to somebody was, Cindy, they've got to start with nutrition first. You know that. It's the hardest part. They've got to make sure that they're getting their protein, carb to fiber ratios intact and starting to regulate that. It's the hardest part, but it's a healing part, right? We are overfed and undernourished. And what's hilarious is when my other son was in, he spends a lot of time in the gym, imagine that. And he was watching this tutorial that Arnold was doing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was retired Arnold, retired from governor. And he was talking about a lot that was going on. And he was like, so in the day when, you had your protein shakes twice a day, and he had smaller meals, and he was like, you ate your protein, you ate your vegetable, you had your protein shakes with you, you had another meal. And he said, and you always took supplements. He was like, you have to supplement your body's needs.
Yeah.
We don't get it from food. And I would just sat there listening to Arnold, right, who had one of the best physiques in bodybuilding, because he was, this might sound crazy coming from a female, but he was so tall. Yeah. And when you lift weights, it's about proportions.
Yes.
His lats, his quads, his shoulders, that's hard to do the taller you are. That's why a lot of times in competitions, the shorter you are, the shorter the range, the bigger muscle you can get. Mm-hmm. And so the reason he was Mr. Olympia and all of this was because of his proportions compared to his height.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with women, why it's harder for longer, anyway. But he ate and he supplemented. Yeah. And his body was able to recover with that. Mm-hmm. And that is really what we teach.
Yes, recovery. So that's the whole point of a reverse diet. We are focusing on metabolism repair. Nothing else during that time. Nothing. Trying to get you back to square one so we can set you up so that way when you go into a calorie deficit to achieve that dream body or your goals that you're wanting, we're able to do that at a higher calorie limit.
And let me just tell you what she's talking about here is the reason that there's such a need for her to run your blood work. Mm-hmm. Because when you have done that so often, your hormones take a hit. Your thyroid takes a hit.
Yes.
Okay? Because you are not giving it what it needs. And it is that way too much of a deficit and then way too high of an intake. And it's a constant, and you all know this. So, I mean, the biggest thing I can tell you all is please do, and I mean, I'm very honest, don't come to us unless you really want to change your body for good. Mm-hmm. Like you're like, I am done listening to the raps. I'm done listening to the magic collagen. I'm done listening to an injection. I'm done taking a pill for that. Like, I am not even kidding. We want to fix you, and then you'll be happy. Then at that point, you can live your life to the fullest. You can hit every goal you put out there, and there'll be so much freedom in that.
Mm-hmm. I have to brag just real quick. I don't want to
toot it.
Okay. I have to brag on one of my clients right now. When she first came to me, we've been friends for a while. You know who you are if you're watching this. When she first came to me, eating 800 calories a day, could not do a push-up. Couldn't do a push-up. I can slowly, very slowly, we've got our calories up between 12 and 1400. Not where I want to be. We want to go more. But
that's what I mean.
Now you
see what I'm saying. It's an adjustment.
Yes.
It's scary for them. So you have to, 100%.
So now she can do, she videoed herself the other day and sent it to me. It gives me goosebumps. 15 push-ups, unassisted push-ups. And I'm like, because your muscles, baby, they're loving it. You know,
they're giving it the energy to be able to yes.
So I would say, the people that need a reverse diet would be, we'll speak to women first. Well, okay. Women, if you've lost your menstrual cycle, if you're having some menstrual irregularities, that's a place to start. What is your intake looking like? Could you be under eating and that's why you're missing your periods?
If you think that you're in perimenopause and you're 40 years old, 38 years old, 44 years old, more than likely your body is deficient in a lot of things, and it starts with nutrients. And if you've been dieting like this, that's what happens. And you can actually come out of that because it's not really peri.
Yeah. No, exactly. You've got probably another,
several 10 years.
Yeah,
exactly.
You had to deal with all that. So you just need a little testosterone. But
exactly.
Healthy amounts, okay? Not trying to jack you up. But anyway.
I agree.
Okay, so if you're chronically fatigued, if your sleep is messed up, if you feel like you can't look at a carbohydrate without gaining 10 pounds, that you might need a reverse diet. And then same with if you're losing strength, that's a big indicator. It's like, okay, I've started strength training, but I cannot push past this, my current PR. Not that you should PR every time you're working out. I don't think that. But if you're trying to get stronger and you're just not progressing, you need to add calories. So is there anything else I'm thinking of?
No, but that's a good point because, again, so many women don't keep up with that.
Oh, tracking your workouts? Is that what you mean? Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm a huge fan of tracking and keeping up with that.
But, when you're doing all cardio, there's nothing to, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that goes back to maybe we can just start convincing women for lifting programs.
Yeah. Yes.
And programs, not like, oh, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That's what I'm doing today.
Yeah. No.
Programs.
And so you don't need to change your program every time you come in.
Oh my gosh.
No, do stick with the same thing it sounds boring, but don't be bored by the movements.
Even when I
have stronger.
Yes. Even when I have clients more than once a week, that's what we do. We do some of the same, things, but I've increased their weight. They don't even know it. Mm-hmm. But, we're just having conversations, but that's why I know sometimes they think, why is she just putting me on this again? We'll do a different shoulder, a different tricep, you know what I'm saying? But basic large muscles, they are doing the same things a lot. We're just increasing that weight.
Yep. Arnold, since we talked about him earlier, I'm pretty sure he worked out with logs.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he just did log presses.
Have you seen the gym they had? I mean, I love those 70s tutorials. If you all have not gone onto YouTube and watched it, my gosh, what they did with what they had was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And, same moves, same things, max rep, and then even lowered the weight. He was talking about bicep curls. He dropped it all the way down and just kept going. Yeah. And until he could not shake his shaker cup anymore. I mean, it was great. Like, I was like, oh, okay. He just kept going. It was bicep day because then you couldn't do anything else. Your hands were broken, So it was like, okay. I mean, it's so ladies, we got to start somewhere. Men, same thing. I mean, your large muscles will help raise your testosterone levels, even in women. Yeah. That's what it does. Muscle helps regulate hormone levels. I don't know. And not eating helps you get all your hormone levels get jacked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number one, you're hungry. I tell people all the time, like, in A Christmas Carol, Scrooge was dieting. That was his problem.
He wasn't eating
carbs. That's why he was bitter and wasn't going to Christmas dinner.
That's right.
He couldn't have the mashed potatoes and rolls.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Exactly. So
speaking of food,
you want to do our goodie?
Yes. We have a gas station goodie.
So I saw this. I cheated. It wasn't actually from a gas station. It was from Sam's.
That's okay.
But this is chicken and waffles. It's flavored chicken chips. It says it's high protein.
Let me see.
So the nutrient, I'll let you kind of do this breakdown.
Yeah, okay. So it is high protein. 24 chips is only 160 calories. It's higher in fat, 10 grams of fat, but only 1 gram of saturated fat. So you know what that means? Mono and poly for the win. Carbs are only at 9 and your protein's at 10. So that's fantastic as long as, they're going to taste like sweet and salty, which we already know that's Olivia's jam.
Yeah.
Sweet and salty.
So it's supposed to be chicken waffle flavor. I'm excited.
All right. I've never had chicken and waffles, so
Chris,
this will be my first time.
Some of these? You want to try one?
Chris is going to get to try some today.
I don't think your microphone's not in front of you. Oh, I'm sorry. He said yes. He wants to try one. Okay. Come on over. We'll cheers.
Okay. Yeah, we'll all cheers the chicken and waffles. This is the man behind the mic.
Yeah. He's our guru here.
All right, we're going to cheer this.
Ready to cheers?
Cheers. Okay. Are we going to eat that? I taste maple syrup.
These are the bomb. Again.
This is the cracklins at the bottom of, it's the cracklins. You see you taste the cracklins?
Yeah. They're a little bit powdery.
Well,
they're not bad.
No, I just reached in and got a whole bunch. Sorry about that.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? Chris gives a thumbs up.
They are a little powdery, but if you want some maple syrup, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, forget pancakes.
Well, if you have a sweet tooth, that would settle that.
It would definitely settle the sweet tooth. So,
how many do you eat?
24.
24.
Yeah.
24 out. That's all you
Yeah, you got to pre-baggy these because check it out. That's like the 4th time my hand's been in the bag.
All right. So I guess that's it for today's show. Yeah. Make sure that you. Oh, we're not.
Oh yeah. No, I said. Oh. Sorry. I was moving some powder around in my mouth.
Be sure to comment, share, and like this podcast. If you have a gas station goodie that you want to send our way, please do that.
Please
let us know where you're watching from too. If this thing is reaching to like Hawaii, actually it might be. Sarah Thompson, if you're watching this, give us a shout out.
That's awesome.
And share it. So
share, like, comment. I got it right. And if you, again, all your topics are welcome. If we're, if you've got something you want us to talk about, please put it down.
Bye. Bye. See you next time.
Only thing I fear is God, and He on my side. That's the confidence I got, 'cause He got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. Viva mami, ya blown it. You don't see when I'm growing. You don't see where I'm going. You only see in the moment. You know my mistakes. You never let go it.